Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Whoever is going to watch the recording or who is joining live. As usual, I think if you've seen me before, my name is Yana Li, and I am the Director of IT and Platform Security at company WebBet. I've been doing sessions for GGG community mostly regarding cybersecurity, cybersecurity awareness, career in cybersecurity. So you can always find sessions. They are posted on DevMena on YouTube. So today is going to be kind of unusual session and very unusual for me, honestly. This is the first time I'm going to speak about my journey. But as usual, I would like this session to be engaging. Whoever is joining live, please ask me questions, write your comments, thoughts. I would love to have a dialogue wherever possible. And thank you so much for being today. So like I mentioned, the session will be a bit unusual, so it's going to start unusual as well. I'm going to speak right now about project management. So why project management is one of the best choices you can make in your career path when you are starting. So I'm going to walk through this topic, and then we're going to move to discussing about my journey, specifically my personal experience. So, and just also to give a disclaimer as well. So the project manager I'm referring to and will be referring to throughout the whole presentation is technical project management specifically. So there are different types, but my experience is more on technical project management specifically. So let's start. So why project management? Well, first of all, there's a lot of points I will go through. Project management contributes your skill set a lot. So let's go into points how it contributes your skill set specifically and why it could be a great choice in your career. So when you are working as a project manager, it advances your communication skills on all organizational levels, because as a project manager, that's one of people who interacts with all the departments a lot. So there's always business stakeholders that bring requirements to project, what they want to have. When it comes to also developing new features for your product, or when it comes to, it always goes to certain projects. There can be different, of course, different sizes, different complexity, and so on. But throughout all this development life cycle, project manager is the person who interacts with business stakeholders, collects the requirements, writes requirements in a technical language. Also, project manager controls the project. So the project manager is the person who will set deadlines, who will plan resources, who will plan budget, who will get approvals. They will work with developers, with QA, with release managers, and so on. So even with technical support at some point, because project managers also, when it comes to improving certain features and improving user experience, project manager is the person who leads the whole game. So as a project manager, you will build your communication skills with absolutely everyone in the organization and with customers as well. So it's a very great position to actually advance your communication skills on technical side and on business side, customer side as well. So second point is product knowledge. So of course, as a project manager, in order to be able to lead the project and to write technical requirements, to write requirements to user experience, customer journey, testing requirements. It will all come down to product knowledge. If you work in a software development, like I've been a project manager all the time in IT industry. Yes, different sectors. I will move to it later, but all the time in IT development. So software engineering, software development. And in order to be successful in setting up requirements for the project, in order to be able to plan properly resources, to plan delivery dates and so on, you always will have to know, to have that product knowledge and understand it from customer journey and customer experience as well. So the third point will be company knowledge. And I actually interact a lot with the first point because company knowledge in terms of organizational structure, in terms of roadmap and people. So, of course, when you lead in a project, you interact with different people all in different departments on different levels. So it's very important to understand the organizational structure. What departments are there, how they work together, what are your technical leads, what are the people that own certain areas of expertise or have certain knowledge. So that's important. As a project manager, in order to succeed as a project manager, you need to understand the organizational structure. As well, it will give you a great visibility on the roadmap of the whole company, of the whole organization. What are the goals of the organization? So are your projects relevant? Is your project relevant? How do you set priorities if you have multiple projects? How do you set priorities within the project? So you need to understand company goals and the roadmap of the whole company. And also, of course, you will understand, while interacting with different departments and people, of course, you will get to know people around you, your colleagues, their areas of expertise, and so on, naturally. So project management really gives you visibility into the whole organization, structure, goals, and so on. The fourth point is it builds your creativity, because as a project manager, when you lead certain projects, when you set priorities, you will be looking from a perspective of what will be useful for customers or for stakeholders of this project. So usually it's customers, but if you will be working, or you're working on a contractual basis. So you have another company that outsources you as a resource, as a project manager. So you will get a chance to use your creativity. So if it's within organization, then of course you will be able to prioritize and to actually bring your ideas into how the project should evolve or how the product should evolve. So what will be the priorities? Because this is where you can actually have a say into what is being developed and how the roadmap is being formed and how the priorities are being set. So this is where you can apply your creativity, and actually you're kind of forced into applying this creativity and developing this skill so you can really develop projects that are relevant for the industry, for the company, for your customer. And the sixth point is critical thinking, of course, because again, the kind of related creativity, critical thinking, because with critical thinking, there's a lot of factors that will be involved here. So when it comes to comparing your projects to, for example, competitors. So what will be more relevant to customers' feedback, to maybe some escalation tickets from technical support. So as a project manager, you always need to apply not only just creativity, but also critical thinking to make your project, to deliver projects successfully, and to bring your organization to success, and also to be to advance in front of competitors. Another point is attention to detail. And attention to detail, of course, when you lead in a project, you always need to understand when you write certain requirements, is it, again, setting priorities, how the user experience will go with this feature, how it will change. So there's a lot of details which will be involved, because at a certain point, the new functionality might affect the other one, or might contradict with the other one, or there are certain functionality or requirements that come in from business that are not possible to implement in the way they would like it to be done. So, or maybe at some point it doesn't, sometimes it's not applicable at the moment, or shouldn't be done this way because you did a market research or you did a competitors research and you have other ideas. So this attention to detail, always to make sure that you cover everything from the competitors research, market research, from customer experience, from the customer feedback, from maybe you will have to work with technical support a lot to understand what are the issues that people are facing, what is more important at that point, and if you implement this certain feature or functionality, how it will impact the customer journey experience overall. So there's a lot of details that you need to consider when planning any project. Another one, of course, there's a lot of other skills that project management will contribute. Well, your experience as a project manager will develop your personal skills a lot. So we're moving forward to problem solving. Different projects, it depends on sector, it depends on who requests for certain projects changes. So there can be different problems, and this is normal, especially in the IT industry when it comes to constant evolvement of technologies, when it comes to certain new cyber attacks, because I'm coming from cybersecurity now. So there's a lot of the attack surface is evolving constantly. So there's different things to consider as well. And problem might arise when you're requested to deliver certain project. So there can be problems related to different areas. It's impossible to predict what could be the issues. So you might be short on resources. You need to plan to consider vacation of people or technical resources assigned to project. You need to consider there can be delays in terms of maybe there are some development issues, or there are some bugs, or on the testing phase that you receive certain bugs, or there is other features that get affected by this specific project, and it affects the current functionality of a product in a different way. So there can be multiple situations where you have to apply this problem solving, and also communicate the arising problems and try to solve them, and know who you can discuss, how you can communicate those problems, how can you solve, where you need to make certain decisions. So that's a lot of responsibility and a lot development on your problem solving skills. And of course, because as a project manager, you are basically the leader of the project, because everything is on you, and everyone relies on you, and you're the main point of contact between business and the technical team, and you're a main point of contact for the technical team's questions and business questions. And of course, a great project manager, successful project manager, is not only a leader, but also has to be a great team player. Because again, if you watched my previous any of cybersecurity presentations, I always talk about no man is an island, and this is true. You cannot accomplish everything on your own, so you have to know how to be a great team player, where you can support your teammates, colleagues, where they have certain difficulties, that they know they can always come to you to help to solve their certain issues, their certain problems, maybe communication problems with other departments. So maybe you need to translate from technical language into business and vice versa. So communication skills and team player, they go together. So you have to learn how to be a team player, not only a leader in this case. And of course, when we're talking about delivering projects, there are always deadlines. There's always planning. You need to set certain dates. You need to deliver projects on time. You need to set expectations, to plan properly, plan the budget, resources. So time management is one of the most critical skills that will naturally become available to you as being a project manager. So one of the most important skills that you will develop is, of course, how to manage your time, and not only your time, but other people's time as well. Next one is resource and budget planning. I touched it a little bit. So of course, when it comes to planning the project, you always need to learn how to allocate resources. So especially when I speak about project manager, why it's important, and it's a great, I would say technical project management is a bit stronger in my opinion, because when it comes to IT industry, a technical project manager with IT background can plan resources and manage budget better, because they have an understanding of a certain development effort or certain testing effort and so on. So resource and budget planning, of course, with every project, you will have to go through this stage. So of course, that's another skill that you will gain being a project manager. Next, we're moving to risk management. I mentioned about problem solving, but there's also certain risks. At the stage of planning your project, there was also a point that successful and great project manager should be able to do is how to manage risks. And they need to apply this critical thinking, what risks could arise with certain project. And it's very hard to just say there will be this list of risks with every project that you need to consider. You have to apply this critical thinking and common sense in your industry for this specific project at that specific time. What could be risks involved? Could it be the risk of not having enough investment? Could it be a risk of not having enough resources, or a risk of being behind a competitor? And because you did the research and you know they're also working on this feature and they might be doing it better and or faster and so on. So there's different risks that you need to consider, and to kind of also be ready to minimize those risks, or to kind of plan in case they arise, or in case you come across them during the project. And the next one is business and market analysis. So we all know there's business analysts as well. There are certain positions that are business analysts that work with a lot of data, but also as a project manager. One of the strongest points, and I think it's from my personal experience, I will not state it as just the only truth there is. There's different standards, and of course there's different practices. But in my experience, I find that project managers, they are they consider many more factors into when they do business and market analysis than just business analysts, because they have certain experience working with projects, working with people, working in certain sectors, and all these different factors that come together while managing projects, and risks and difficulties, issues, problems they face. So when they do a business and market analysis, they kind of have a different approach, which is more out of the box rather than business analysts. So as a project manager, business and market analysis is kind of natural. So you will always be trying to, when you set certain priorities, when you plan for the project, when you apply your critical thinking, when you apply your creative thinking, so you will always kind of be referring to the market research, and you probably will be referring to business analysis. So depending on what sector. So as project manager, this skill will be naturally developed, because with every project, when you plan for every project, your approach will be looking at competitors, looking at customer feedback, looking at trends and so on. And this is natural. So this is one of the skills that definitely will be useful for you, and they will come naturally while having this experience as a project manager. So one of the biggest points, and I think it's really I will be speaking from my personal experience as well, and what I've seen with other people that work as project managers that I know. Technical project management gives you freedom of choice and constant challenges. What I mean under freedom of choice is basically when you are a project manager in IT, when you have a technical skill set, and you can switch between sectors much easier than maybe I'm not going to talk about developers and QA engineers, but if we speak about people that are consultants in certain areas, or we take other positions. So when they're working in retail, or they're working in banking, in banking sector, it's harder for them to transfer into different sectors. While being a technical project manager, as we know, every business is IT business. So being a technical project manager gives you freedom to choose between sectors and to switch between sectors. Yes, there will be a learning curve. You will need to, at some point, at the beginning, you will need to understand the industry, what are the differences. But the concept of leading the IT communication skills, all the skills that you gain as a technical project manager, they will always be very important, and you will be able to apply them in different sectors. So there's a learning curve in maybe understanding the industry, how it functions, and what exactly this industry is about. But leading the IT project is going to be basically relies on majority of concepts are the same. So of course there is certain approach, like, okay, you have waterfall approach, you have agile approach. A lot of companies go for agile. So those basics, those foundation skills, you will be able to apply from day one. And with all the skills that you gain as communication skills, problem solving, and all those that I just mentioned in previous slides, 12 skills, they will be very useful at the sector you join. So technical project manager, being technical project manager, you can switch between sectors much easier than maybe other specialists in other areas. And constant challenges, of course, constant challenges. If you switch between sectors from one sector to another, there's going to be always a challenge where you need to adapt and to learn new things. So, and new technologies, and you always have to stay up to date on different trends. So I think that will be one half of the today's conversation. I would like to see if there's any questions before I move to my second part. Okay. Juan, as a project manager, how might you convey a sense of urgency to a team or member that is working too slowly on their part of the project, which is causing delays for others working on the project? It really depends on, there's no, as you say, one way how would you communicate. So because right now, if whoever has seen me speaking before, when I speak even about cybersecurity awareness or cybersecurity mindset, I speak about personal approach. So making it personal to people and to try to reach them. So I'm not trying to speak to a faceless audience. I'm always trying to understand who I am in front of, and I'm trying to include everything. So all my talks are all about inclusivity. And in this case, when such issues arise, it's always important. Step one for me would be to understand what is causing the delay. So we're all humans, and I would always, as a leader, one thing for me is to be able to support my team, and as a team player, is another point is how can I how can I also be a human being and be a good teammate, right? So if there's anything I could help with in order to maybe help them to overcome this certain issue. So maybe they need, it really depends. If it's personal reasons, maybe they need some time off, or maybe I need to find someone who can help them to work on this project or this specific area of what they're working on. So there's a lot of factors to consider, and it really depends on what this delay is connected with. So I would like, the first step will be to understand what is the reason of the delay, and always to create a safe space for the team to speak up. And then we're going to move from there, but there's always a solution. So there were cases that I had to communicate that the project is being delayed. It's normal. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be to worry about. There can be situations like this, and if it comes down to the point that I will have to communicate that the project is being delayed, I will have to do so. I will do that. But a great project manager will never blame someone in their team, because if the project is unsuccessful, I am speaking as a project manager. I will always say that it's the problem of the project manager. So it's not a problem of anyone else in the team. It's always a problem of project manager. So that's why it's important for me to manage expectations at all stages, and to always stay up to date and on top of things, to foresee if there's any certain risk or there's certain delays that I need to communicate upfront. So I'll never wait until the last minute. Anyways, I hope that answered. It was kind of a long response, but I hope that answers your question, Juan. So, and thank you so much for this question. I think I'm just checking. Okay, I don't see any other questions so far. So I think we're going to move to the second part in my journey, a bit exciting. I would say not so exciting. I think it's the first time I'm actually speaking online or to an audience about my personal experience. So if it gets at some point very boring, please let me know that it's boring. Well, if you're watching the recording, I'm sorry, you won't be able to stop me. But anyways, let me start. Okay, my journey. I don't have any more slides. I will just be speaking about my whole experience. Just to give a quick start, I guess if it's too much, like I said, just feel free to stop me. We can move directly to the point. But anyways, I was born in Russia, so I think a lot of people that they don't know this about me. I was born in Russia. I am from St. Petersburg, from Russia, and I haven't been living there for a very long time, but I was born there, and I went to regular school, absolutely normal, nothing special, nothing super advanced in science, nothing like that, just a normal regular school. And there was a point, a kind of maybe a bit personal. So I played sports, and at the age of 15, I almost agreed to move to Moscow to play handball professionally. So there was a time, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful I never did that. So I don't regret that I never did that. I don't know what, like, okay, there was some things that happened why I didn't make this move. I refused last minute, but I almost dedicated my life to playing handball professionally. And handball is not a very popular sport, and very dangerous as well. But anyways, coming back to the school I went to, ordinary school. I didn't have any computer science classes. There were some basic ones that were optional. I never really attended them. Maybe I attended one, but I don't really remember that. I just remember there was something, but I never really studied computer science at school, in high school. So how life started changing is basically, I was good at studying. So I was, how would you say, I'm coming from I'm coming from kind of a poor family. I'm not coming from a wealthy family. So there was always a pressure on, if I don't do everything myself, then I will not be able to get an education if I don't get a full ride scholarship. So I kind of knew that I needed to study. So also my roots are Korean roots, and being looking Korean in Russia back then, I don't know how the things are right now, but back then it was also a bit difficult as a kid. I was kind of bullied for my different looks. I was bullied for I looked differently. I was everyone called me nerd at school, and I'm also very tall, so I'm 6 feet tall. And when I was young, I was taller than everyone else and all any other kid by like this much. So I was bullied for everything, for my looks, for being a nerd, for having different nationality because of my Korean father. And I guess that's why I was pretty lucky, because in this case, because I was not popular, I didn't have friends, so I was into reading books all the time. As I was into science fiction, reading different books, and kind of being on my own. So books were my friends. And I think that helped me a lot to concentrate on my self-development back then. Things started changing when, because I was studying so hard, I won a scholarship. When I was 15 years old, I won a scholarship to go to California, to the States, and I spent there 1 year studying, going to normal high school. So I was allocated to Edgewater High School in California, Central California. It's Merced County. I lived in an American family, and I went to regular high school. So that's when my life changed completely, because this is how I learned English. Being thrown into that environment with only English speakers. And this is how I was introduced to IT world in some sense, because it was 2008, 2009 when I went there. And 2008, 2009, there was basically first iPhone was released, and California. So it's a state of Silicon Valley. So a lot of people were talking about technology, and there were computer science classes. I didn't attend computer science classes in the States because I didn't know anything about it. But there are a lot of kids that were talking about it, and they were applying to Stanford, applying to Caltech, applying to Berkeley, and all of this cool Ivy League schools, like also Princeton and Harvard. So there's a lot of things that I learned back then. And year later, I came back to St. Petersburg, to Russia, and I decided that I would like to apply to IT school. So I went to IT university. I applied to IT university. I was very good at physics and math, but I knew nothing about computer science. So I got into ITMO University, St. Petersburg, Russia. ITMO University is a 6 times world programming champion, and it's famous mainly for 2 faculties. One is computer technologies and IT management. I think they changed it now to computer technologies control systems. But anyways, back then it was computer technologies and IT management. And the second one was a faculty of information technologies and programming. So my luck was that computer technologies and IT management faculty was accepting students with high scores in physics, if they didn't take computer science. And on the other hand, when I was admitted, everyone around me knew programming. And also 90% of the students were men. So that was another challenge, but it was a very interesting challenge. In that university, NT University, I knew nothing about programming, but there was a lot of other things they were covering. So there's a lot of on the engineering aspect, on the management aspect, and understanding of hardware, understanding the software, understand lots of different things that they cover. And of course, a variety of programming languages to choose from. So I had, in order to pass, in order to graduate from university, I had to learn all of this. It was very difficult. but it was a very exciting journey of sleepless nights. And on my fourth year in the university, I got my first job as a technical support engineer. So technical support engineer for Microsoft Exchange, and it was it was kind of my first job, my first serious job. Being a student and landing this job, it was pretty exciting, and that helped me to kind of get into project management. So I'm not why I'm mentioning kind of I talk about project management. It's a great choice to make when you start your career, but of course you might not be able to get project management from the beginning, just graduating from university. So you might get a junior project manager, which is great. So, or associate project manager is a good starting point. But at that time, this company was not hiring for any junior positions in project management. They were hiring for technical support engineer. So that's how I made an extra step in the beginning to get to project management. So technical support, of course, it gives a lot of other things as communication skills as well. It prepares for project management. And that was my first step, how I got into PM. So that was year 2013. And I graduated from the university in 2014, year later. And a few months later, while also in 2014, February 2014, I was promoted to project manager. That was my first experience. It was very scary. It was very difficult. I was still in the university. But that's how I understood how challenging it was, how much it required, but how much it was given back. And basically, that was my start. So once I graduated in summer 2014, in December 2014, so a few months later, I was interviewed by the company in UAE. So probably a lot of you know it's Air Arabia Group. So it belongs to Air Arabia Group. It's not airline Air Arabia, but it belongs to Air Arabia Group. The company is called Information Systems Associates, and they were developing IT software for airlines and airports. And Air Arabia was one of their main customers, of course. So, and that's how I got to UAE. So in 2015 February, I moved to Sharjah at that point, not Dubai, because Air Arabia is based in Sharjah Airport Free Zone. So I moved here, and I started my project management journey in aviation industry, completely new from scratch. Didn't know anything about airlines, didn't know anything about airports. Because I was not even traveling much. I traveled only to United States, and that's it. So I wasn't even aware of how things work, and that was a learning curve. But what most important for the company was all the other skills that I mentioned in the beginning. So all these 12 skills, that's what they were looking at, and they were looking at critical thinking. They were looking at how your communication skills and how fast, of course, I could learn. So basically, having all those skills, it by default means that you're a fast learner, that you're very flexible. So I was given that opportunity to work in the aviation industry. I was very excited. It was a lot of challenges, of course, but it was super exciting. A lot of issues arising, a lot of delays as well, a lot of different resources allocation, reallocation, and so on. But we'll not go into all of those details, but all those skills in the first two slides I mentioned, had to apply all of them. So, I mean, I had to learn some of them as well and apply them immediately. So it was really great experience. So from February 2015 till April 2017, I worked in the Air Arabia Group in aviation industry, leading projects on basically software for airlines, mainly internet booking engine. There's also a little bit on crew management system, departure control system, so related to airports. In 2017, I met my mentor, basically. That's another thing, by the way, I'm reminded now to mention that getting a mentor, it's very, very important when you just start your career. And it doesn't apply only to project management, but in overall in any industry, I guess, in IT especially, getting a mentor, which could be your colleagues, or you could be someone you know from the industry, but it's very, very helpful and very important. So it helped me a lot in my journey. My mentor, and who became a friend later as well, he was chief product officer. And he basically looked at my LinkedIn profile and headhunted me himself. So I didn't even apply for the job. And the job was related to energy and sustainability sector. So imagine aviation industry jumping into energy and sustainability sector. So because how it happened, they were looking at different other candidates, and later he told me, well, we were more interested in personal skills. So when being a project manager, it's not only about technical knowledge, but mostly about personal skills. So, and he mentioned those skills that I put on the first two slides as well. So that's how I changed sectors completely. And I worked on a project with Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. So I moved to Dubai from Sharjah, and Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, it's a project related, it's called My Sustainable Living Program. If anyone of you lives in Dubai, has a DUA account, and if you ever received email on My Sustainable Living Program, that is my project that I led. It took us almost 3 years to work in it, to deliver. But it was exciting. So it was in this case, the owner of the project was the client, which is Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, DUA, and us being a contractor for them. So it was a different kind of experience. And I had to deal with around 11 departments within DUA, plus our own developers, our own testers, our own designers, our own management. So that was a lot of people to talk with, a lot of people to sync and align with. And that was, I will not go too much into details, but it was one of them maybe most complex, not complicated, but complex in terms of how many people were involved in that project, and a lot of data science and everything that needed to be done. It was just integrations and cybersecurity as well, to comply with security, and to make sure that all the customer data stays put, and the DUA's data stays put. So there's a lot of factors that were in this project, and really benefited my skills, my personal skills as well. But it was a success. And later, after the project was finished, I changed the industry once again, and I went into consultancy. So, and in the consultancy, our client was Abu Dhabi Investments Authority. So I started working for a Swiss company with the client Adia, and basically there was a project, multiple projects related to automation testing and related to data science and generating reports and so on. So that was, again, a different sector. But as a project manager, they were looking at many other skills before the industry knowledge, which makes sense. And from my personal experience, no one ever rejected me or not looked into my profile because I'm coming from a different industry. When it comes to technical project manager, they're looking at mostly personal skills and technical background as well when it comes to IT. So just from my experience, it's always been like that, and never ever they looked that there was not enough experience in the industry specifically. After consultancy with Swiss company, there was COVID times, hard times, so everyone got affected. I was affected as well, and I was because I guess of the track of different projects and change of different industries as well. I was working on my LinkedIn, of course, and I was employed at ShortPoint, and I think you saw my first presentations where it was mentioned ShortPoint. So that was my first cybersecurity job. How it happened? I was given a project on the cybersecurity. So that happened as a miracle, I would say, because I discovered my passion, and I will be forever grateful to ShortPoint and ShortPoint management for that, because they trusted me with the whole cybersecurity program. They gave it to me as a project. They thought I could handle it with all its complexity, and they were not wrong. Because I found my passion. I understood that it was something that I've been looking for, in a way that it combines project management skills, because I'm still leading project. As a cybersecurity manager, you still have to project manage a lot, to speak with people, to align different departments, and everything came together. So all my skills, they were wanted for the cybersecurity manager. And what I did for this, of course, for cybersecurity, I had to invest a lot into learning security fields, sector, different compliance frameworks, and everything that is applicable to this industry. And of course, it was a lot of ad hoc reading. It was a lot of, I took a semester at Harvard, and was another interesting experience. Was a very, very strict, very strict course. It threw me back to university. I think my university was not as strict as Harvard. So they were basically removing students from the program because they were late on assignments, or they didn't score more than 70%, or they didn't attend certain sessions. So it was very, very strict, but it was worth it. And so that's how I got into cybersecurity. And of course, because I found it so interesting for me, I found this is something that I want to do and I want to dedicate myself to. Of course, I was very happy to read, to study additionally. There's a lot of free resources. I also did a presentation that is on YouTube. You can find about how to start your career in cybersecurity. And you can see you don't have to be a developer, to be an engineer, network engineer, to have very strong applied experience from a super technical position. So cybersecurity, with having a lot of technical background, yes, but it also demands a lot of personal skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, common sense as well. And a lot of it comes down to security awareness and, of course, being passionate about what you do. So that was how I started my cybersecurity at ShortPoint. And then basically I had to build cybersecurity program from scratch, from having nothing, to being compliant with SOC 2 Type 2, to working with security auditors, to educating employees, friends, and everyone I could about security awareness, to basically have my hands on as well on certain cybersecurity controls. So after building the cybersecurity program for ShortPoint, I was also referred and headhunted later. There was a kind of a story in between, but I will not go into too details because I wanted to take a break, but then it kind of didn't happen because of different visa situations and so on. And then the WebBets came across me, and because I couldn't travel and I couldn't take time off, and I decided, okay, I probably need a job. I cannot just sit around and do nothing. So WebBets is right now is my current company. So they, of course, I mean, okay, I cannot say too much, well, I guess, because it's my current position and there's a lot of things going on. But that's right now I'm director of IT platform security, and basically it all started, if we start from the beginning, it all started from technical support engineer, which was a step towards project manager, and project manager was 2014. So almost basically what 7 years later, no, a bit more, 7 years later, I got into cybersecurity, and I'm not going anywhere. So, and from technical support engineer to director of IT and platform security, it's been a very exciting journey. It was quite unusual, but there's, again, like I spoke about it in the previous presentation, there's no perfect path, and a lot of people might tell you, okay, this is textbook path how you can reach your how can you become cybersecurity professional, or this is textbook path how you can become a project manager. There's no perfect path in any scenario. So you just work on yourself and you try to gain as much knowledge as you can, implement this knowledge in practice. That's the most important thing. I've been very lucky in always given opportunity to do so, but I've been always looking for such opportunities to learn something new. So the thing that I also mentioned, getting yourself a mentor is really helpful. It's not mandatory, but it's helpful. It could help you if you know someone in the industry, or there's a certain colleague that would be willing to share their knowledge with you. It's amazing. And there's another thing is networking. So when you attend different maybe events, when you deal with you know closer your colleagues, networking is another great tool that can help you later, because maybe you never know, once you leave a job, there's, like, for example, WebBets. The person who referred me to WebBets was my colleague from 2015, 2016. So from Air Arabia Group. Imagine what 6 years later, they referred me to WebBets and they liked me. So you never know how it can turn out. Do your networking, invest time into this. No, it might be uncomfortable, but it's really worth it. And also just kind of point to make, it's I think maybe right now it's a bit easier than when I started with career in IT and education in IT. And it can also depend on location, I guess. But when I was a kid, I was bullied. I didn't have friends. I was called nerd. I was not accepted because of my nationality. So I was in university. I had friends, yes, they didn't care about my nationality, but there were some gender-based stereotypes, because it was 90% of students were men. But all of this, actually, I really, really want to say that don't pay attention to this. No matter what they say, that you cannot do anything or you cannot be something or someone, don't ever listen to them, because you can do anything. I'm coming from a poor family, coming from a different country, and there's a lot of stereotypes about certain regions. I moved to Middle East, for example, and in Middle East, I've never been stereotyped because of my gender. I've never been stereotyped because of my age, because of my marital status, because of my nationality, nothing like that. So when you're young, kids can be a bit harsh, or you can be put into some uncomfortable environments or situations. Don't listen to anyone. You can be anyone you want. And it doesn't matter how tall, skinny you are, what is your skin color, what is your nationality, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what age you are. You can be anyone you want. And I'm really telling it from a personal experience, because there were lots of cases that I was told I cannot do certain things. And I think I've done so far. I've done a pretty good job, basically showing to myself that everything can work out and everything is possible when you have the will to do it and you have desire and you have your goals and dreams. Just take it step by step. It can be a long journey. Yes, I'm not a genius. I wasn't born a genius. There's a lot of hard work that can be put into it. There can be very difficult situations. There can be times when you feel lonely, but just remember that you can do anything, really. Don't think if you're late or it's too early or you're too young or you're too old. There's nothing like that. Just move towards your goals, move toward your dreams, explore. This is your life, and there's no textbook right path. Like I mentioned, there's nothing like this is perfect way. You can be in IT field today and you feel like you want to be in cybersecurity or you want to be a project manager, but in 1 year you wake up and you will think that you want to be a baker, and then move towards it. It doesn't really matter where you start. The life is so unpredictable, and I think that will be my best advice. Just remember that you can do anything you want in this life. That's all. I think it's a bit too much on the personal advice side, but I think if you are watching it and if you have any questions or you would like to ask me anything, because it's kind of unusual personal session, you can ask me personal questions. I will be happy to chat and stay a bit. We have like 4 minutes left. Okay, I think, thank you so much, Juan. Thank you. I see a comment from Bright Starlight, but I don't really understand what that means. It looks like to me, it looks like a hacker emoji, to be honest. I don't know. It looks like a purple man in a hat and a coat hiding. Okay, I think there's no more no questions at all, but feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and give your feedback to the organizers if you like the session or you want to come back to cybersecurity sessions and make them more technical or applicable to industry. If you have about project management specifically, please feel free and ask them anything. I'm here, and I hope you like this unusual session, and I hope to see you again soon with something else. Cybersecurity, project management, doesn't matter. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bright Starlight and Juan Voice. I'm happy that you liked it. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.